There was a video by Metagoblin here called The Current State of Wrath Classic.
The content in Phase 3, and it took a grand total of 4 days, so it's now time to review the new content and raids and discuss the state of WotLK Classic.
I like how, as he says that, he's like cycling through like different, you know, illegal websites for buying boosts and gold and stuff like that.
Many people are doomsaying that this patch will be the death of WotLK Classic. It's the worst patch of all time. The raid is short and boring, and the game is gonna die. I mean, this guy was so off. He decided to spam FUCK Trail of the Grand Crusader in.
Dude, you have to be really mad at something, or like have a lot of anger in your brain or like in your head just to do this. This like does nothing for you.
Looking for group chat. Is it really that bad? I think people are looking at this patch in the wrong way. Trail of the Grand Crusader is a mini catch-up patch. A
in between
preparation phase for the true endgame, which is obviously Icecrown Citadel. And this is because the original intention for ICC was a patch of slower progression. The raid wasn't fully released at launch, and the difficulty had a natural deterrent to fast progression.
I will say, as a person that haven't been like playing as a person that haven't been playing Wrath for a very, very long time, I am still very, very excited for ICC, to be fair. TUGC is, as he said though, just like a kind of like in-between thing where you catch up and stuff like that. So I might do some TUGC raids and stuff, but it would only really be to prepare for ICC, which obviously I would like to be able to do, right? But yeah,
cool for the short and sweet Phase 3 experience. Now, I personally think that the raid itself is one of the best raids of all time, and the main reason for that is because you physically spend less time playing the game, which means you can go and spend your time better by playing better games, like a fresh TBC server. I mean, wait, what? Yeah, I might be getting that time machine out again for a future video. But in all seriousness, Toxie has no...
So the game is good because you can get to play the game less and then focus on other games. Oh, come on, man.
Trash.
Yeah, come on.
You don't have to slog through a load of boring trash mobs. You can easily get the raid completed in under an hour. This means there is less of a time commitment required in order to keep your mains gear up to date and ready for ICC. This frees up your time to play multiple characters. I feel like I agree a little bit with this take that like less trash is good. I feel like no trash at all in a raid where it's just boss, as TUGC is a little bit too... It's not as immersive, but I guess it makes sense because it's like an arena-styled, you know, arena like a gladiator-styled raid. But I think a little bit of trash in between bosses kind of like makes it feel like you're actually in a raid. You're moving through like a, you know, like a dangerous territory. But if you add too much trash, like in AQ40 after you kill the twins, or like in some instances as well, I guess like, you know, Molten Core can also be a little bit like that. Like some raids have way too much trash and it's so off-putting, right? I think like a good mixture of the two is probably the best, right? Having a little bit of trash here and there, because it needs to feel like an actual raid too. SSC, yes, oh my god, that raid has way too much trash. That raid is a perfect example of just way too much trash mobs that is just overabundant. Like 70% of your time you spent just killing trash in ICC. I don't like that. Oh, not ICC, in SSC, sorry. But I think there should be some trash mobs in a raid. Like a little bit here and there. There definitely should be. Black Temple as well. Way too much trash. Yeah, I agree. But yeah. Even a casual player can easily play on 3 different characters.
That's fair. That's a good thing.
Being able to play multiple characters keeps the game refreshing, and who knows, maybe you'll end up making your alt your new main because you find it more fun, or because that particular class ends up performing better in the next patch.
And eventually you turn into Prefox sitting and cycling 20 different full biz characters doing a TUGC GDK piece, man. I feel like TUGC sometimes combines trash and bosses quite well, since several bosses are trash. Well, I don't think necessarily TUGC is a horrible raid per se. I actually think the bosses are quite cool. Like Ice Howl with the, like, you know, running into like the wall mechanic with the big damage. I kind of like the little the worm bosses where you get to split the DPS as well. And Ubarak is really cool. I think the bosses are cool, and I think the raid itself is cool, but I don't know if the raid itself is enough incentive for me to want to come back and, like, you know, play the game as like my big main thing, right? Because it's not a lot of content you can do per week. As he's saying in the video, you log in, you do the raid, it takes maybe an hour, and then you're done, right? So it's not like a main game kind of thing for me. Sneezy, what's up?
Toxie isn't a difficult raid. It's a very chill raid with mechanics.
Oh yeah, I really agree. Sorry. Ukulas, you're making a very good point. The mentality where trash teaches you the boss abilities is a good thing. I very agree. I think that's the thing that they does really good in retail. Snaggy died. If you could put, did he actually die? Wait, what?
Guzu. Okay, that should be
In the Vault of Incarnates, like the newest raid called Vault of the Incarnates, not the newest, but the first raid in Dragonflight, it was so cool because every single trash before the boss had some boss ability, so you would like learn what the bosses kind of did before you were fighting it. That is a really good way of integrating trash in a cool and, like, you know, innovative way, because like you're not just killing trash to kill trash, you're actually, like, you know, learning a little bit about the boss as well, which is amazing. Gunnar, thank you for the 2 months, by the way.
That are easy enough to figure out. Honestly, all the
Irvana, what's
hard
up?
modes are probably still harder. And if you wipe, it doesn't really matter because you just res very
Yeah,
close
that's
to
fair.
the entrance, and the entrance
This
is
boss was cool.
basically the raid, since it's a one-room raid. Blizzard have also added many catch-up features for your alts and for returning players.
Yeah.
Firstly, with the re-release of Elixir, which was fun to revisit. Just make sure you don't AoE over the ads like I did too soon and too exuberantly, because you know, I ended up doing 1 million more damage with the next best DPS and over 20k DPS.
My God.
Obviously ended up killing myself. But yeah, to be honest, it was totally worth it. At least I casually just won the bag of gems and Elixir head to totally make up for it.
I kind of forgot this even existed, like they brought back Oni.
As I still got loads of Diablo 4 stuff to give away, so if you want a free copy of Diablo, just comment down below and subscribe to the channel. Now I'm going to reply to your comment on my main account. You'll see a verified link. It won't be any other name like similar to mine. If you see something like that, it's a scammer, and be careful of that. Order 10-man loot has also been added to the new difficulty mode for heroic dungeons, which is called heroic beta dungeons.
So there's a lot of catch-up mechanics. So you can get Order 10-man just by doing. Okay, I mean, I might think about like gearing up my characters to prep up for ICC. I don't know how much I'll really stream it though, to be fair. But
on top of this, you can now buy the hard mode loot with Sidereal, whatever essences. But unfortunately, we only drop one per dungeon, so it is going to take you a while. It's kind of pointless, to be honest.
Okay, so you gotta do 19 heroics to get like a piece of gear, basically. That seems a little bit excessive. If the point of it is to catch up, that seems way too excessive. You should get like a few, maybe like one per boss, right? So you could do like 4 dungeons and get an item. If it's a catch-up mechanic, then allow people to get a little bit faster, I think, right? You know, if they're doing it. I don't think it should be in the game, but it is, right? It is in the game.
I just know for a fact if I try and farm...
They might fix that soon. People are complaining a lot right now. I could definitely imagine. It's hard mode gear? Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think for a lot of people, Wrath has turned into like a very raid lucky thing. I think for sure.
Upgrade with
let people farm it? He says it's hard mode gear, let people farm it. But what you don't realize is that to get a hard mode item, like a hard mode weapon, currently in this iteration of like the catch-up thing, you have to do 25 just heroic dungeons. It's not like you're farming anything difficult, it's just you're just farming dungeons. It's not like, you know, it's just like that basically. But yeah, I don't know. For a catch-up mechanic, they could probably make it a little bit more fun than that, I would say. But yeah, okay, I can look at that Snaggy Box thing in a sec, okay?
5 essences. I know for an absolute fact that something's going to drop in Travel Grand Crusader the next day and replace it.
Yeah.
Now, at first glance, I thought I liked this feature, but now that I've
Memory
had more
of
time to think
Elgalon.
about it, I really don't. Now, don't get me wrong, I like catch-up features, but I think these beta heroics are taking it way too far. When you introduce too many catch-up features, this makes progression in the game too short.
Yeah.
Reflection Classic really has become a very pump and dump, anti-social raid logging expansion.
I don't really think that's because of the game, though. I think that's just because of the way that players play the game nowadays. People min-max, people try to do the fastest thing that they can, GDKPs, gold buying. That's just how people play it nowadays, right? What is this clip?
Where are you going?
What are we watching, by the way? I didn't even realize what it was paused at.
I'm just getting a glass of water.
Because now there's not even much point to do.
Again, okay, I'm gonna pause here instead. I don't think it's a game issue. I think Wrath of the Lich King is an amazing game. It's really good, but the way that people play it is what makes it less fun, I think, overall. It makes it less of an MMO, but again, it's not a game issue, it's a player issue. It's the way that people just play nowadays. You know, people are just very, very particular in the way that they choose to enjoy the game, right? They just want to go in, pump their GDKPs, pump their rates as soon as possible, then get out, right? It's a very, very min-maxy thing, and that's nothing to do with the game, really.
Order 10 man, you can just quickly pug some dungeons to get that gear. And this is a shame because now there's less of a need to do raids. To be honest, you can easily just skip Ordoir entirely and jump into Tog C to get the best loot.
People will do that though.
You can just get your character decked out with heroic beta gear and then some badge gear, and you can easily just jump into normal mode Trial of a Grand Crusader because normal mode is an absolute joke.
But I mean, people will do that regardless of there being a catch-up mechanic or not. They're gonna go in and they're gonna try to catch up as fast as they can with the easiest thing that they can, right? It's also a game issue. There's no point doing old dungeons and raids when new one comes. Yeah, but Wrath is very much the turning point in terms of what made, okay, I'm a vanilla Andy, what made vanilla, and to a certain degree also TBC actually, like a really, really cool MMO game, right? Because even really late into the game, whenever you have like, you know, BWL and AQ40, there's still ways to do, reasons to do Molten Core and other games as well, right? Wrath is very much the turning point of where WoW really changed. A lot of people say that it's Cataclysm, but Wrath really introduced a lot of those mechanics and like changes to the game which made it a lot differently than it was beforehand, right? Whether that's better or worse, it's up to the individual to decide. I myself more so, you know, I prefer the older school style of MMOs with like, you know, Wrath and like TBC and vanilla, but yeah, it's very, very different. Wrath is what J. Allen Bragg was referring to. We thought we did, but we didn't. For me, yeah, kinda. Wrath is the biggest like nostalgia bait that I experienced with the trilogy, like vanilla, TBC, Wrath. Vanilla, I love vanilla. I really do. That has nothing to do with like, you know, if you do, you know, you think you do, you don't. I love that game. TBC, I actually really, really enjoyed that second time around as well. But Wrath, I have not played that much Wrath, I will say.
You've done normal mode a few times and saved up some badges to get the next tier set.
Okay.
You can easily just jump into Heroic and totally skip Ordoir.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny really because Blizzard increased the item level of Ordoir gear in an attempt to keep Ordoir relevant in Phase 3.
Made it harder,
But by making the Heroics drop Ordoir gear, they've basically countered that measure. So they made Ordoir more relevant with increased item level and then equally made it less relevant by giving Heroic dungeons 10-man loot. So they...
I see where he's coming from with that, but I think Ulduar 10-man does also drop 25-man loot. If I think, right? I'm pretty positive that it does. So in that way, you could still run Ulduar 10-man, and that's an incentive for that, right? Because the 25-man loot is way better, I suppose. But
kind of shot themselves in the foot.
I don't know if that's in... It does, just not 25-man heroic. Yeah, okay, so you don't get the heroic gear. Okay.
Again. So, classic Blizzard did something good and then just ruined it. In order to really fully enjoy Wrath of the Lich King Classic, you really need to be raid logging on multiple characters, otherwise it's just going to get boring. There isn't enough to do in the game on one character.
That's just what the game is, though. Yeah, I mean, that's just what Wrath, like, in general, just is a very raid-logging game. You do all your things, you got your stuff ready, and then you're good to go. You could also do achievement hunting and such, but that's a different thing, right? 8 raids per day. That's not just Wrath. In general, yeah, TBC is very similar. Like, MMOs in general are very similar to this, though. Once you have your character fully decked out, every single is, like, you got everything, it's just kind of raid loggy, or like if you like collecting things, that's when you start collecting. That's why a lot of people still play retail nowadays, right? Like, because there's achievements, there's mounts, there's transmog, and stuff like that to farm, right? And, you know, if you enjoy PvP, you can also do arena, right?
And as a side note, with the increased item level of Ordoir gear, we have a lot of people who have very, very good gear, which has obviously made Trial of a Grand Crusader much easier, which makes it easier for people to get carried in GDKP runs.
Of course it's pre-Fox, man. This man runs like 10 TUGCs a day and Ulduars. He is the GDKP overlord, man.
making Ulduar irrelevant in this patch.
God.
The sense of journey adventure has been totally lost from the game. It's no wonder people are jumping back onto classic era servers, and it's not just for the hardcore challenge. Remember the grand scope of adventure you experienced during the
Yeah, it's different.
achievement questline and the achievement questlines in TBC Classic? Well, that just isn't in the game anymore, so the sense of adventure has been lost and replaced with a short and sweet pump and dump raid logging style of expansion. And I think this is something that many classic players don't like about the game, hence why they have gone back to classic era servers. On one hand, the removal of achievements is great for casual players because it means you can just jump into the main content faster, but in the process, the spirit of classic has been lost. I think achievements are a great element to any MMO, they're just only really a problem when you have to do them twice or...
How is Stitches here? Okay, I'm sorry, that just kind of confused me. This is like Munbrook. How... Goddamn kiters, man. Yeah, the hunters, dude. But yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes. And that's why a lot of people are saying that, like, Wrath is the beginning of the end in terms of where the turning point really was. Doesn't mean that Wrath necessarily is a bad game. Did I say Munbrook? You know where we are. You guys know where we are. It's a different style of game. It's a more like, you know, queue simulator. You go and you do your raid, you do your PvP, maybe you farm some achievements and stuff. And that's the main thing.
Certified.
But it's lost that essence of an MMO, right? In a way.
Have a faster catch-up method for that achievement process. And I've not even dived into topics such as the WoW token, GDKPs, and the gold-selling empire, which are obviously huge reasons why people are quitting the game. I don't really want to do that in this video because I'm working on more episodes to continue from my last video on the gold-selling Underworld Classic in a follow-up series. So episode 2 of Stranglethorn Vice will be coming very soon.
Alright.
If you think the first video exposed this dark underworld, you really haven't seen anything yet. I will very soon be interviewing genuine, actual gold sellers and getting more information about
that's
the
interesting.
inside life of a World of Warcraft gold seller. So subscribe so you don't miss that video. That's going to be coming very soon.
Cool little video.
But anyway, into my next video. Ciao.
Alright, cool little video from Metagoblin. I think it's a point that everybody is very, very much well aware of. The fact that, like, you know, Wrath is so different and there's many of the WoW, like, MMO aspects has been lost within the game for, like, you know, in favor of other things as well. Am I gonna go back to playing Wrath for the time being? Probably not. I mean, not at the moment. I wouldn't be opposed to really trying out, you know, ICC and stuff like that, but it's just not a game I can play as, like, my main thing every day. Like, me, vanilla, I love vanilla because I can do my leveling, I can do my raids, I can do a bunch of different things, which I feel like is for me is very fun to do, and it's something I don't really get tired of, but I did get tired of running Ulduar every single week, okay? I actually kind of did. I'm not gonna lie. It was tiresome, but good video by Metagoblin. Very interesting little thing. It's also gonna be very interesting what's gonna happen after Wrath. Like, will we get Cataclysm? How is the takeaway gonna be from that from the community? Are people gonna like it? Would I like it? I have no idea. I quit in Cataclysm back in the day originally. But, you know, that's probably gonna be a lot of hot topics about Cataclysm coming soon, because it might be coming very much, right? I quit back in Cataclysm originally.